Since I was 18 years old, I'd been an intern at Microsoft. Even in my freshman year of college, I met Steve Ballmer in the cafeteria and said hello to him, and introduced him to my mom who was visiting. And I built a relationship with Steve over the years, and for over a decade, we would have one-on-ones over lunch, or we'd go jogging. I just told him, I'm one of the fastest rising stars in your company, and I'd like to have you as a mentor. I left Microsoft to start Tell Me, and he had been on the other side trying to prevent me from leaving. And even while I was at Tell Me, I was personally fighting Ballmer on recruiting Harvard graduates and MIT graduates. I would call a student, he would call a student, I would call them back, he would call them back. And he knew that this was happening, and he knew that the best and the brightest were not going to Microsoft and they were choosing our startup instead. So he had this sort of competitive desire to get that talent that he had lost earlier back at Microsoft. When Emil told me that Tell Me, the company that we had co-founded, that it had a suitor, and he said, we need to get a conversation with Microsoft. We need other potential buyers at the table. And how can you get me a meeting with Ballmer? I went jogging with Steve. During the jog, I basically told him, Tell Me is now, at the stage where if you want to have the talent that we hired, it's up for sale, and it's a conversation that I think Microsoft belongs in. And so he basically said, get me connected and let's have the conversation. And what's funny is many other Microsoft folks afterwards jokingly told me, you're not allowed to go jogging with Steve anymore because they felt like this short-circuited an entire process that would have otherwise gone through many layers of bureaucracy.